All right, folks, we're live. This is the Armory, the Vegas Golden Knights unofficial original podcast, post-game analysis, commentary, all the beans. Tonight was the very first game in history, and it was a pretty good game. I'm Thomas. I decided to do this because I've always wanted to do something like this, and when I saw we had an expansion team joining the NHL, I figured, hey, what better time than now to go after this and see what the next decade or so has to offer. So I'm planning on doing an analysis after every single game. With that being said, let's get to tonight's action. Dallas Stars versus the Golden Knights in Dallas. First period started pretty decently. It was hard checking game throughout. For anybody who watched it, they'll know these teams already don't seem to like each other. I noticed right off the hop, Marchessault and Riley Smith kind of continued their chemistry from their days in Florida. So that's a bright spot for sure. Eakins as well looked really strong in the first half of the first period. James Neal put on quite a display of strength, actually, which is something that's always been part of his game, but often overlooked. And he did a good job. Drew a penalty early from Radulov just by staying strong on the puck coming down the wing. The Knights then they went to the power play, and you can see that's going to take a bit of time. Coach Gallant had some struggles with the power play in Florida as well, but in my opinion, the Knights here, we got the best coach in the league, so that's going to be really good, and the power play will come around. After the first couple power plays and some tight checking both ways, the hitting really increased in the first period, and then Fleury, who was the story of this game really from start to finish. Fleury really started to step up right around the halfway point of the period. He absolutely robbed, I think it was Seguin down low. And he also was robbed Radulov at one point as well. Radulov also for Dallas showed a physical side. Put a great hit in on Eakin. Good, clean, strong check, and that really seemed to set the tone for the rest of the period. Things got pretty frisky out there. Lots of face washes, lots of stuff after the whistle. Nobody dropped the gloves, which surprised me because there was a couple of checks in particular that certainly could have garnered a response. Nosek, I really took notice of him throughout this match, especially around the net. The kid seems really strong around the net, and I'm excited to watch how he'll develop. And then right near the end of the period, Flower got run pretty hard, led to another penalty, although they weren't able to put it home by the end of the first. And my initial thoughts on the first period of play is that we got a good defensive Gallant style team and a tough team. Up and down the lineup, there's not much softness on this Knights roster, so that's going to be really exciting going forward for sure. Second period started with the power play. Again, decent sustained pressure, but not really much for scoring chances. And then Fleury once again started standing on his head. It was quite one-sided at a lot of points in this game in terms of possession. I really noticed that the Golden Knights had a tough time getting it out of the zone in certain points, and the barrage of shots that was coming in from Dallas was quite impressive. And without Fleury tonight, it would have been a completely different game. They traded chances around the halfway point of the second period. Again, Fleury just came out and robbed Seguin. Huge saves. And then Holla took a kind of a bad slashing penalty in my eyes. With these new rules, the guys don't even know what what they can do anymore. But Holla got caught, and Radulov and Seguin then combined for the power play marker. Sorry, Seguin and Shore. It was a shot from the point, tipped in, kind of a slap pass play like the Sedin twins in Vancouver will pull. Top shelf, an absolute beauty, a goal scorer's goal. Credit where credit's due, I suppose. Then the Vegas kind of awoke after that. Nosek had a great chance in close, hanging around the net. And then that was pretty much it for the second period. We had Leipzig. He just missed a chance. There was a big pile-up as well around Fleury, but he just held strong. Again, he had 45 saves tonight by the end of this. He was just fantastic to watch, and that's a very good thing to see. He's the guy who needs to be the leader, and tonight he certainly was. Third period started with good physical, tight-checking hockey. Not really much to show for in terms of scoring chances. Riley Smith had a good blast and hit Bishop, and it knocked his mask off, and it almost looked like the puck turned on end and came in and actually hit him in the face, and so he was taken from the game. Kari Lehtinen came in, and immediately Perron had a good chance in front of the net, got a good wrist shot away, but massive glove save by Lehtinen. Impressive stuff. However, the strong penalty killing continued, and Marchessault got robbed. I really noticed that Belmar and McNabb on the penalty kill were really good tonight. And then Marchessault, as I said, got robbed on a 2-on-1 that also looked pretty damn good for Lehtinen. However, Neal then scored right around the halfway mark of the period on a delayed penalty. You see Neal, he slips off the bench and kind of sneaks in over the blue line down the right side, gets the puck and just rips it at the goal. I think it went off of one of the Dallas defenders' skates and in. But a great all-round play by Neal, and in my opinion, quite fitting. This is the guy who you want to see score the first goal in the team's history. Everybody can write that down for your trivia question 10 years from now. Who's the first Vegas goal scorer? Is James Neal. And that seemed to really turn the momentum back in the favor of Vegas. They had more sustained pressure. They got another power play. They failed to score. And in the end, the power play was 0 for 7. So like I said, it's a Gallant team, and they don't really have a true dominant power play guy. These are the things you got to develop as the franchise goes on. Fine. Fleury continued to hold the fort. And then with about 2.5 minutes left, James Neal got an absolute beautiful goal. Took a pass that was the pass was behind him on a 2-on-1 down low, and he reached back to receive the pass, fell onto his belly, and still managed to lift the puck over the tender on a very impressive play. Anybody who has access to the highlights, you'll be wanting to watch that one for the rest of the week. So that's how the game ended. Fleury continued to stay strong. Garrison had a very, very important shot block late in the game. Fleury was down and out. Radulov took the puck in the slot. Seemed like he had a wide open net. Garrison got his skating away, and truly that kind of sealed the deal. So, takeaways from the first game: you got a great coach. The team looks tough. They're not the fastest team, not the slowest team either. Very defensive team, lacking flair up front. That's something that's just going to take a little while for these guys to get going, and it is very tough when you're starting with an expansion roster. You're going to get a whole bunch of players that are EA Sports 75 overall or what have you. Nobody bad, nobody great. but the team itself, it's going to be competitive, and I really think they got a shot this year at very least challenging for a playoff spot. I don't know if we'll make the playoffs, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun watching them try. And a good, exciting night for a pretty somber time in Vegas. And I was a little disappointed that the opener of the franchise was going to be on the road. But with the tragedy this week and all the rest, it was probably for the best that they started on the road. And hats off to Dallas, the organization and the fans for the touching display at the beginning of the game. They stood together with Vegas for the anthem, and it was a nice gesture. So the hockey season's underway. The Golden Knights are here, and we'll be live tomorrow night as well to give you a rundown, sports analysis and commentary as always. And thanks a lot for listening.